engine turns the corner. Touchdown, Huskers! Nebraska wins its 5th national championship.
Giving you an inside look at everything going on in Husker Nation. This is the KLIN Husker Hour.
Kicks and deals the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Jackson Brockett has the first 9-inning no-hitter for the Nebraska Cornhuskers since 1954, and he did it on his 12th strikeout.
Dodson got it! Underdog and one! Exclamation point! Pump the brakes!
Now your hosts, KLIN contributor Cole Stukenholtz and sports director Nate Rohr.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the KLIN Husker Hour. We are here. It is April 11th. We are deep into baseball and softball territory. The basketball portal is open. Spring football is already over. It is a busy time nonetheless, and we are here to talk about it with you for the next hour here on Husker Hour, getting you ready for the weekend and so on. So we've got a good show for you. Pat Norris, longtime Nebraska men's basketball equipment manager, is going to join us. He had a front row seat to not just this season for Nebraska basketball. He's seen quite a few of them, quite a few eras of different coaches and so on. So he's going to join us here in studio a little later on to give us his perspective on what he saw. And we got a lot to get to. So let's get to it. As it's a rainy morning here in Lincoln, and it is the everything's in bloom. And if you have allergies, I mean, like I do, and my kids, it's not the most fun season for that part of it, but everything kind of gets going. And we've been in our house for 11 years now, and we've planted a lot of things, and we've got a lot of things in the ground, and a lot of stuff's blooming, and it's fun to see kind of everything come together like that, right? You see that, okay, this flower that we planted here is coming up just like we planned. That's great. And then you got these trees that are doing their thing over here. Maybe you add a little decoration over there. And once you've been in place at a spot for a while, right, it does kind of all start to come together after a long time. And that's kind of what's happening with Husker softball to a certain extent. You've had Rhonda Revelle here for quite a bit longer than 11 years, but she's been in place here at the helm of this softball program. She's planted a lot of seeds. She's put a lot of those decorative touches in place, and now everything is in full bloom, and you're seeing it. This softball team is top 5 in the country. I think they're an odds-on favorite to host not only a regional but a super regional. They have a superstar in Jordy Fromm. They've got really, really good players and who would be potentially superstars on other teams at many different positions, Nate. And it's been really fun to watch everything come into full bloom this spring, because they've put everything in place for a while, and now you start to you get to reap the rewards of it, and just see how beautiful it's all becoming with the way they're playing softball these days.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they've been in this neighborhood before, the 2013, 2014 teams, Taylor Edwards, Tatum Edwards. But, I mean, that was a little more of a surprise, the fact that they were teams that had to go on the road for super regionals, and even the 14 team had to go on the road. Yeah, this team has had a impact culturally that I don't know that I've seen at Nebraska. And I think it all started at the end of the 2021 season. I mean, this has really been a 6-year sort of straight line. It started in 2019. There was the investigation that summer of Rhonda Revelle and the Nebraska softball program. Yeah. And there were real questions about where this program was going to go, what they were going to be able to do in the future. And yet they came through that. I mean, if that goes a different way, who knows where Nebraska softball is right now. So 2019, the investigation happened. Then you have the weirdness of the pandemic. And then 2021, you know, there were still some players in the program that I don't know were bought all the way in. And it was just a matter of working them through and elevating players that had some leadership potential, like Carly Sievers, like Courtney Wallace, like Olivia Farrell, and empowering them to lead this program and set the pace. And they did a great job of it. And that, you know, if you want to use the gardening metaphor, that tilled the ground, that put the fertilizer in, and that set everything up to where when Jordy was ready to come back after the 2023 season, this program was ready for her. This program was in a place where she could thrive, where it could thrive with her and achieve at a high level. And then even just this past year, the additions of Jessie Farrell and Hannah Core. I mean, Hannah has just substantially upgraded Nebraska's outfield defense. And Jessie Farrell's a really potent bat, and we saw that last night with a home run that got Nebraska going offensively. I mean, she has been so consistent for this team when she's been healthy. She's been a real force in the lineup. So, yeah, it's been a process. It's been a path, and it's great to see it pop up the way it has. And now they just need to keep taking care of business. I mean, they're going to be favored in their final 4 Big Ten series, and they're already up 1-0 on Wisconsin this weekend. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a matter of going out and doing what you do and being the team that you expect to be and maintaining your focus.
You know, I love a good metaphor, Nate. So don't feel bashful at all about keeping that going. Yeah, they're 31-6. They've won 6 in a row. They're 12-1 in Big Ten play, and they have, like you mentioned, the favorable schedule down the stretch. Right, they're going to be favored in these last series, and they're going to have all the opportunity they want to be able to finish this thing out. They've got a lot of the planting done, and now it's just time to see it come up, and then when it comes around to May, it's you can start picking those veggies and you know, making some salsa, you know, whatever you want to do there. So I wonder what you've seen from your perspective as far as how this season has been maybe a little bit different too, because they've had Jordy on the team now. This is the 3rd season, the 2nd one she's played in. I wonder if that belief maybe is there that, you know, hey, she came in and the goal was to get back to the College World Series, right? And mm-hmm. she's obviously been there and she's succeeded on a super high level. But I wonder if you've seen maybe the confidence grow in everybody else on the team as they've, you know, not only just continued to winning, but seen the standard that a player like her has been setting.
Oh, I think absolutely. And you know, the fact that they were able to compete at such a high level early this year and knock off a couple of number 1 teams. I mean, you don't do that, especially as a Northern team, if you don't have a good amount of confidence in what you're doing, because you're not getting the good practice that those Southern teams are, and yet they found a way to beat Texas. They found a way to beat Texas Tech. And there's just so much experience on this team. And don't underestimate the importance of Nebraska having made the run to a regional championship last year and coming within 1 run of going to the Women's College World Series, because you can legitimately look at where Nebraska is and say, look, we're close. And we've added a couple of, really 3 really great parts here. And so there's no reason why we shouldn't believe that we can get this done and that we can compete at the highest level. And so they're operating with that. I mean, Alexis Jensen, for a freshman, is so poised and competitively tough. And we saw that last night. I mean, she pitched herself into trouble in those first 2 innings. The 2 on, none out in the first. Had runners 2nd and 3rd, 1 out in the 2nd. But she bore down. She got the outs she needed. She got through it. And then, the rest of the game was hers. So, hey, the fact that she comes in with that level of competitive toughness and belief only helps the thing. And when you're getting that from the circle, it just permeates everybody else.
It really does. And I have wondered this as well, with obviously when Jordy went down in game one a couple years ago is devastating, right? But
yeah.
I don't know that you would have had this type of team last season had she been healthy for both the junior and senior year. And it's one of those, like, hey, there's a silver lining, there's a blessing in disguise, all those sorts of cliches when something bad happens. But I really do wonder, Nate, if a season like this would have happened last year. I don't know that Rhonda Revelle and company could have put all the pieces in place as soon as they could have last year, whereas they had an extra year, so to speak, to do it. Obviously, you lost a couple of players last year that were seniors that maybe could have made more of an impact. But this season, having, it was never in the plan for Jordy to still be here in 2026 when she came over. So I wonder if that part of it has given her a little bit of extra time. And Alexis Jensen's not a part of the team last year, right? So there's that alternate reality that you could have lived in where Jordy doesn't get hurt and it ended last year. And maybe they wouldn't have had quite the ceiling that I think is evident for this team.
I think there's something to that, especially with the pitching depth that this team has and the fact that they've been able to build this thing up. And, you look at the other parts that Nebraska has added with Ava Kuzak, with Hannah Kammensen, with Lauren Kammensen, and you wonder, if they would have sat there and said, oh, I can play with Jordy for 1 year, would they have been as willing to leave Wisconsin and Arkansas to come and play for Nebraska? Maybe they still do. But, to have 2 years with Jordy instead of 1, I think was a big difference. It's also, I think, really helpful to have Jordy mentoring Alexis Jensen, because I think, Alexis is naturally pretty competitive, pretty assured of herself, pretty tough. But when you've got somebody that you can learn from, work with, have them work with you, I think that's a real asset, and I think Alexis has taken advantage of it, and I think it's really accelerated her development. And what's more, the fact that Alexis knows that if things go sideways, if Nebraska struggles, Jordy's in the bullpen, and Jordy can get Nebraska out of it. I'm sure that's one of the last thoughts in her head, but she doesn't feel the pressure that she would have had Jordy graduated last year of, oh, geez, I got to do this myself. And there's no way I'm going to, it's either me or the whole thing falls apart. So I think that's helped bring Alexis along too. So I do think there's something to that. I mean, you always wonder, what could the Billy Andrews, Brooke Andrews, Sydney Gray senior class have done with Jordy playing with them? But at the same time, you're right. It has set up a really good situation and probably a better situation with due respect to those guys this year.
Yeah. And I know that it would, obviously next year is next year and you do feel good about where the program will be, but man, this season, like you said, with Jensen knowing that Jordy's behind her, that's quite the safety net to be operating with. And to continue the gardening analogy, it's like, hey, you know that in Nebraska, you might get a late frost. You got Jordy to put a blanket and some buckets over those plants and make sure they're going to get through okay, and still move on and get the job done. So you've got those 2 games left this weekend. Is it still a noon first pitch up there in Madison?
Yes, noon first pitch, pregame 11:45 on 105.3 The Bone today. Noon first pitch, 11:45 pre. Tomorrow we'll be back on B107.3 for that.
There you go. Yeah, we'll get you ready for the weekend. And yes, Nate will have softball over on B107.3 or somewhere over here at Broadcast House for the rest of the season, which is very, very fun to listen to as they continue their march towards Oklahoma City. They can hopefully have just as much fun and success as Husker men's basketball did, which we will get to. some portal news, some comings and goings, plus Pat Norris from the equipment staff. He's going to join us as well. When we come back, we're going to get to baseball. They're out west, out in Eugene, Oregon. They've got a big-time series. Suffered a tough one last night, but they've still got a chance to win that series. We'll get you caught up on baseball and get to men's hoops as well when we come back here on the KLIN Husker Hour.
Life changes as we age. Your independence doesn't have to. Whether you're looking for a place to socialize and share a meal, or you need a hand navigating the complexities of Medicare, Aging Partners is your local resource for seniors. They offer everything from care management to fitness classes and social activities. Don't let the challenges of aging slow you down. Let Aging Partners provide the tools that you need to stay active, safe, and connected. Visit lincoln.me.gov and search Aging Partners or call 402-441-7070.
College, careers, and even confidence, they all begin with public education. Hi, I'm Tim Royers, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Parents, your belief, your time, and presence help shape their path. Every conversation, every question, every show of support helps your child prepare for what's next. The future may seem far away, but it's built day by day, starting now. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's a tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
I put it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Dad's going to be far side. Good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do the wiggles. Slate's coming in.
What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
He's just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
I'm Tiffany. I have some tips for you on how to quit smoking like I did. First, I did some reading about it. I found a lot of great advice on how to quit smoking and picked out the ways I thought would work best for me. I started by setting a quit date. Then I threw out my ashtrays, lighters, and matches. I did other things too, like exercising more, and it worked. But I'd still get cravings, especially on long car rides. To help me with that, I put a picture of my mother in my car. She died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes when I was only 16. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter. That picture of my mother reminds me that I don't want to miss all the things my daughter is going to do in her life, including turning 17.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Your Saturday morning source for everything Huskers is right here. You're listening to the KLIN Husker Hour on Lincoln's Husker Radio, 1499.3 KLIN.
Rolling along here on your Saturday morning KLIN Husker Hour. We are up on the StreamYard. Kenny got us on the way here and then was not feeling well. So I'm trying to run this thing. We've got Nate not in the StreamYard because of that. So he's with us on the phone from Madison, Wisconsin. And you can check us out on the KLIN socials, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We're also on the KLIN Husker Hour Facebook page as well. And out west, as I mentioned, Husker baseball suffered a tough one last night. It was a 7-6 loss to the Ducks. It is a ranked matchup. Nebraska and Oregon both in that 15 to 25 range, depending on which rankings you look at. And Nate, they led. Oregon did 7-2 at one point, and Nebraska doing Nebraska things. They always seem to do this. If they do get down, they don't stop and they keep fighting. And they've come out with a lot of wins in those situations, came up just short last night. But these next two are going to be critical for, I think, their chances of hosting a regional if they want an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, in these big series where you're facing a good opponent like Oregon, like next week against USC, it's critical as a Big Ten team to win them, to be able to say, hey, we're the team in the Big Ten that ought to have that inside track to host, to have that favorable position. And unfortunately, losing last night didn't help that cause. They were, you respect how this team fights, and the fact that they fight the way they do, it's kept them in a lot of games. It's kept them in the mix a lot. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough last night, and is a lesson that, hey, you've got to execute innings 1 through 9 against a team of this caliber like Oregon that is going to be a regional team, that could be hosting a regional, that you're going to be battling with.
Yeah, Ty Horn was, of course, the Friday night starter. He's had some nights where he just hasn't been able to go that far, and yesterday was one of them. Tucker Timmerman ended up getting in there. There was a lengthy delay, so kind of a goofy night for the pitching, but you do think you've got a pretty good rotation. I think that's pretty well borne out at this point. You've got Cooper Katsky, who's fell into that Sunday role and has worked really well for them as a transfer this season. And then obviously Carson Yassa has been really, really good on Saturdays. He has had all the talent in the world. I think everybody was really excited about him last year and just didn't quite have the control. But boy, he's got it this year. And they've been so successful in the midweek. They dropped their first midweek game of the year earlier this week to Kansas. But all up until then, they've been unbeaten in those situations. That's why they've been in this position too. So you hope that this isn't a sign of things to come, where there's a couple losses in a row now. They lost in the midweek. They lost on a Friday in a critical series. But I trust in this team's ability to bounce back, because we've seen them do it all year. But this is the toughest situation they've been in on the road. One of the best opponents they've played all year.
Yeah, but you mentioned why optimism should be there for Nebraska. I mean, momentum is only as good as the next day's starting pitcher, and at least for the next 2 days, you feel like Nebraska has somebody who's pretty competitive there. So you like your chances, but it's going to take a little stronger effort, especially early in the game, to take control and make Oregon play on Nebraska's terms. So you're hopeful that you get a good start today from Yassa, and you can take it from there.
Yeah, looking at Yassa, just to kind of back up those numbers. So 66 strikeouts through 8 starts. It's the 5th time a Nebraska pitcher has had 65 or more strikeouts through their first 8 starts since the year 2000. So he's got the stuff, and there's no question that it's working this year. And they're really going to need him today to be able to get back on the winning side, give them a chance to win the series tomorrow. And the way that they're pitching and the way that they've been able to find the critical hit, I think that was the thing that's really stung Nebraska in the regular season. Obviously, they've come through in the postseason to get to the tournament, but in the regular season, it's been those critical, runners in scoring position moments where they hadn't been able to come through. You've seen them come through, Nate, in a ton of those situations this season. They did late last night in the 8th to get 4 runs and cut it to 1. And with Rhett Stokes back, with the way that Dylan Carey's swinging the bat, and they've got Mac Moyer he goes back to a place he's been before in Oregon and hits a home run last night. He's got that leadoff spot locked down. You really feel like you've got the lineup set the way you want it, with just a couple of tweaks here and there from game to game. But it's been more consistent this season than it has in years past, and I think that's been a big reason for their success this year too.
Yeah, no doubt. This is a team that is a little deeper lineup wise, a little deeper pitching wise. Dylan Carey's been on a heater lately. Boy, he's really carried this offense the last few weeks and has been very reliable at the plate. And you just need to keep it going and see if you can get a good start today from Yassa to get this series back to even.
Yeah, so it's Carson Yassa today. That first pitch today got moved up as well due to the projected weather out west. So that one, I want to say, starts at noon today, if I'm remembering right. And it will be a 11:30 first pitch. Don't quote me on that because I'm not looking at it. I will definitely make a correction if I'm wrong before the end of the show. It's Carson Yassa today and then Cooper Katsky tomorrow. That one's set tomorrow for a 2:00 first pitch. You'll hear both of those right here on KLIN as well. So
today is 2:00.
2:00 today too. As well. Okay. Yeah, it was originally for 4.
To Central.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. That's it. Thank you, Nate, for the update there. So you'll hear Husker softball over on the Bone today and then B tomorrow, and then you'll hear Husker baseball right here on KLIN today. That's a little update on the Diamond. We've got our next guest in the studio with us. We're going to get back to hoops. We don't want to stop talking about this season yet. It's Husker basketball portal season. We've got a lot of updates there, and we're also going to talk with our good friend Pat Norris, equipment manager for Husker men's basketball. He's had a courtside seat to quite a bit, and this season topped them all. So we'll talk to Pat about his perspective this year and get all that with you next here on the KLIN Husker Hour.
Hey guys, Jack Mitchell from LNK today with Jack and Friends and Drive Time Lincoln. And today, the mother of all garage sales. Yeah, we are out here at the Sandhills Global Event Center Currency Pavilion, hanging out here until 3:00 when we shut this thing down. But man, it is hopping. Incredible deals, incredible finds, incredible treasures. It is what it sounds like it is. It is a giant, massive, huge garage sale. And if you're someone who kind of likes those hidden treasures, who kind of likes to find a deal, who might be into some kind of a collecting or looking for something specific that's been hard to find, this is the place for you today. Over 300 booths, and like it's everything: antiques, collectibles, clothing, electronics, decor. Listen, I can't even list it all because there's so much here. There's something for everyone, and you can get in on it. Sandhills Global Event Center, 84th and Havelock, until 3:00. $5 for adults, kids 10 and under. Free parking is free. See you here at the mother of all garage sales on 1499.3 KLIN.
Do you have your ducks in a row? One of the last best gifts a person can give their family is their own funeral pre-planning, which brings peace of mind today and for your loved ones in the future. It's a thoughtful, loving, cost-effective way to care for the ones you love while expressing what truly matters. At Butheris Major and Love Funeral Home, families are welcome to simply visit, explore options, and begin the planning process with no pressure. Butheris Major and Love Funeral Home, helping people like you get their ducks in a row since 1883. Recommended by family and friends.
It's tax season, and by now, I know you're a bit tired of the numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud. Not all grim news. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal information and alerts you to threats that you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to fix it. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK, 1-800-LifeLock or lifelock.com. Terms to apply.
If you recognize my voice, you know about my music. What you may not know is what my foundation has done in the fight to end the AIDS epidemic. Since I founded it in 1992, the Elton John AIDS Foundation has reached over 100 million people, connecting them to services and care for HIV. We've saved over 5 million lives, and we've helped combat LGBTQ+ stigma and fought for civil rights. Every single day since 1992, we've fought to get healthcare to vulnerable people who have been left behind because of stigma and discrimination. Our work is not over. We need you to help end the AIDS epidemic once and for all. It is possible in our lifetime, but only if we work together. Learn about how you can help at eltonjohnaidsfoundation.org. And follow us at EJAF on Instagram to see our very latest accomplishments through the Rocket Fund.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Monday on This Morning, America's First News, the latest from weekend talks between U.S. and Iranian negotiators, plus what Iran is demonstrating about economic warfare in the current conflict. Also, more older workers are retiring rather than dealing with AI, but it's not because they're intimidated by the technology. And the retirement pitfalls of having a large 401k. Monday on This Morning, America's First News.
Weekday mornings from 4 to 6 on 1499.3 KLIN. giving you an inside look at everything Huskers. This is the KLIN Husker Hour on 1499.3 KLIN.
All right, well, now we get to the main event. We've got a special guest here in studio. Is longtime equipment manager for Husker men's basketball, a man who has had a courtside seat to quite a bit here in Lincoln, from the Devaney Center to Pinnacle Bank Arena. Pat Norris here in studio with us on Husker Hour. Pat, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, Cole. Thanks for having me in.
Yeah. We were talking during the break about, just have you come down yet from all the wildness from this season? You've been here for a long time. Did you ever think that you would witness what we all witnessed in Oklahoma City?
Absolutely. I mean, I had to have faith. Why not have faith that they're going to get this ship righted, and we were going to become the team all Nebraska fans knew we could become.
First, I got to know what socks is Pat wearing today?
That's a great question.
Socks on?
I got my no-shows on, Nate.
Brutal.
My off-day no-shows.
I got you. You're saving the fun socks for the game.
That's usually the case.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What were the luckiest socks? Do you remember?
Well, how can I say the Flying Pigs? I mean, that got us to the Sweet 16, right?
There you go. That's right.
Yeah, those are definitely going to go in the Nebraska Basketball Hall of Fame someday, I got to think. Okay, so you've been here through different coaching eras. You've seen different guys come and go. When Fred Hoiberg got here, what do you think made him different? What is it about him, just in his day-to-day approach, that you think has made him as successful as he's been?
I think his style of play is something that's very successful. You saw it. Him started at Iowa State, and he gets here, and once the right guys got in, like starting that 22-23 season, we had some injuries, kind of ran out of gas in the end, but I mean, you started to see it piece together, and then you start getting the shooters, and you start playing, they kind of call it positionless basketball, and you get shooters all over the floor and opens everything up. And
what about go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, sorry. You mentioned 21-22 is kind of where the shift happened. Could you feel it happening in the program? How long did it take? Because it felt like, early on, Fred's style of play and kind of how the program set up was one way, and he made an adjustment in the program and with the guys he was recruiting. Could you feel it just, even not even a basketball sense, just being around the guys?
Yeah, I felt it with Sam Griesel and Emmanuel Bandamel and Juwan Gary. And, Derek Walker had been here through those first few years, but getting him with those guys, it felt so much different when they got here.
And you probably see it too with local guys like Sam and like Sam Hoiberg and Cale Jacobson as well, where, not to say the other guys don't really want to win, but boy, and Siobhan, you go back to Siobhan Shields too, a legacy guy, wasn't from Nebraska, but obviously his dad was. You can tell they give that little extra. It really, really hits them different, right?
Yes. There's a little more pride in it, having the Nebraska connections and, having the fans there supporting you. And I mean, you listen to how the fans reacted when Sam would get introduced, and that's local kids, and you want to keep building off of that.
Talking about, Sam and what he meant for this program, I mean, how was it just on a daily basis? It's one thing to see it in the games and he's throwing his body around and everything else, but even in practice, he's practicing the way he's playing. How does that raise everybody's level?
Sam was the glue guy. I mean, Sam, the team went as Sam went, and I mean, that was the same in practice. I mean, he was 100% effort all the time.
Pat Norris, Nebraska basketball equipment manager, joining us here on Husker Hour, giving his perspective on this season and his, is it 22 years?
This was going on the end of my 22nd season.
Yeah. All right. So 22 going on 23 is his tenure there. Is it old enough to drink? And drink we did in Oklahoma City. I wonder what your experience was like, because obviously you're there to work. You got we saw the pictures of you doing laundry there on Friday in between the games. How much of that time were you finally able to, okay, I take a breath, I sit back, I soak it in, like this is awesome.
After that Troy win, we got everything back to the hotel. I threw it in the room, I changed clothes, and it was time to forget about basketball responsibilities for the next several hours. So, and I had a lot of friends, a lot of coworkers, everybody was down there.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of cathartic. Just let it all out.
What did it mean? This team got off to such a good start, and they start 20-0, but as their level raised and as they were going up in the rankings, the buzz started. Okay, this is the team. This is the year. This is when it's going to happen. Did you sense any pressure around the team once that corner kind of got turned from, hey, they're really good, to, hey, this is the team that better be the one that does the thing?
They set it as their goal early on, and I don't think pressure got to them at all.
Okay.
Throughout a season, yeah, you've got ups and downs, and we had a very, very high up to start 20-0, and then things kind of evened out a little bit, but the pressure never got to them. They won the games when they needed to, and they won the game, and two of them.
Obviously they set that as the goal, and they got out to that hot start. I think I've asked everybody I've talked to this question at some point this season. At what point did you know, like, okay, this is the team, this is really something special, what they're doing out there on the floor?
I've told this several times, but it was a red-white scrimmage we had towards the end of July, I think, when Rink was okay. Now he's full go into practice, and I think he hit 5 threes on 5 possessions in a row. And I looked at our trainer, Andrew McCabe, and I said, this team's going to win a lot of games.
Well, because at that point, you've seen Price.
Yes.
He's come in and done what he's done. You've seen the development of Sam Hoiberg. You've seen Braden Frager, who
we saw that all last year. Yeah.
Right. And there was talk. I mean, Fred said at one point, I think before the end of the prior season, that they thought about bringing him out of his red shirt to help late in the year. And there was all the buzz before the season started. I wonder what your perspective on Braden's been, because a local kid there too, and was not necessarily expected to be, 6th man of the year in the Big Ten as a redshirt freshman and hitting the game winner in a second round game.
Now, Kurt Joseph, our strength coach, has called him man-child from the day he stepped into his weight room. So the program's known, and you gave him a year to develop and be on the scout team and watch the way Nate needed things done and Coach Hoiberg needed things done. And we knew that was going to be Frager.
You mentioned Nate Lenser, and while Fred is I think rightly seen as an offensive guru, this program really seemingly turned a corner when Nate Lenser signed up. What difference do you see from him on a daily basis, even since he joined the program a few years ago?
Nate's pretty intense, so he gets the dudes focused and really buying into the way he wants his teams to play defense. And I mean, if you do what Nate wants you to do, we're going to be successful on the defensive end every game.
Yeah. And the way that they've been able to kind of find those roles for the coaches, I think it's allowed the players, I think, to see, okay, this is my role on this team. This is, Jared Garcia coming off for, a couple minutes here or there. Sejan, when he was healthy, was going to be a bigger part of that too. Leo was ready, even though he had, maybe little reason to be, and made his biggest impact in 2 of the biggest games of the season. I think that speaks to it too. And I don't know if you noticed that, where, through the course of the off season and into the start of the year, where players did really see what their roles were going to be and really, really did buy into those.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the summers are for, to figure out where guys are going to fit in the rotation. And with Leo, I mean, he's all the potential's there. You see it. Just got to, develop a little bit more. And I don't know what his plans are. I haven't heard his plans yet, but a summer here would really take him off, I believe.
We mentioned all the local guys that were on this roster, whether it was Freger, whether it was Sam Hoiberg. Price Stanford played his high school ball in Iowa, but he had family ties back here. But for the guys that were from elsewhere, Rink Mast, Bierke Buchtengel, Jamarcus Lawrence, they were getting kind of secondhand what this fan base has been through basketball-wise. The fact that they had not won an NCAA tournament game. How did they take that in? How much it meant for this program to finally break through?
I think Rink really understands it. Like he's been here 3 years now, but I mean, from that first year making the tournament, it kind of, oh wow, like these fans really, really want this. And then having to sit and, watch not as a successful season. I think he's a Nebraskan now. He knows.
Well, and having it taken away for a minute too. Like you didn't know, seeing, all the reporting that's come out. Amy just wrote a long piece on his recovery, and Fred's talked a lot about how dedicated he had to be able to get back and the routine that he had to go through with the rehab. He didn't know if it was going to work, because it was such a rare thing, such a unique kind of surgery, and the guys on the staff at Nebraska didn't even exactly know what to expect too. So for him to have that possibility exist that he may not play again, and then have the chance to get back out there, and like you said, in the summer, see, all right, I still got it. Yep. That had to be a moment for him where he and probably the rest of the team were like, all right, we've got something special here.
Yep, it was. Yeah. When Coach said, Rink, you're the most disciplined human being I've ever met, it's true. Like he didn't miss on any of his rehab. He was there all the time, getting himself back to what he was able to do this year.
Yeah. Nate, I know you got to run soon. Do you have any more for Pat before you go?
No, I just thank him for stopping in, and what a year, huh?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nate's, you've got to head over to the Wisconsin softball complex. So we'll let you get out there. We'll hear you over on the bone at 11:45 before first pitch at noon.
That's correct. Yep. That's 105.3 The Bone today.
All right. Go get us a win. We'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. See ya.
All right. There he goes. Nate Rohr. He's KLIN sports director here and co-host here on Husker Hour as well. We'll hear from him again next week. We're going to get to a break here, and I'll have a little bit more with Husker men's basketball equipment manager Pat Norris. We don't want to stop talking about this basketball season yet. Plus, we've got a little bit of portal news. We'll get to that and get you on your way to the weekend here on KLIN Husker Hour.
Wake up, fish, eat, repeat. That's all you have to think about while vacationing at the Lincoln Walleye Connection. It's a specially priced, all-inclusive trip to Ballard's Resort on Minnesota's Lake of the Woods. Guides will take you to the best spots to catch prize-sized walleye. Meals are spectacular. The lodges are luxurious. And every day is set to a beautiful backdrop that only nature can supply. Transportation is included. It's July 19th through the 23rd. Reservations must be made by April 1st. Learn more at KLIN.com.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Matt with the Salvation Army of Lincoln. Every day in our community, families are facing tough choices. Hope is needed, and it is needed now. Generous neighbors like you help us provide food, financial assistance, youth programs, and life-changing opportunities to thousands in Lincoln. Give financially or volunteer your time today. Visit us at salarmylincoln.org to learn how you can make a difference. That's salarmylincoln.org. Together, we can give hope and help where it is needed most.
Let's go! With Liberty Plus checking from Liberty First Credit Union, your money helps you move forward. Earn up to 5.50% APY on balances up to $40,000. Plus, rack up You Choose rewards that you can redeem for cash, travel, and more. With relationship pricing on savings, CDs, and loan rate discounts, Liberty Plus checking helps you earn more with every dollar. Let's go! Earn with Liberty Plus checking. Visit LibertyFirstCU.com.
Qualifications apply. Visit LibertyFirstCU.com for details. Member NCUA.
I didn't switch to Pure Talk just because I wanted to save 50% off the same 5G service I've been paying twice as much for. I switched because I like the idea of being in business with a wireless company that supports our veterans in a meaningful way. Pure Talk also creates American jobs every day by keeping their entire operation in this country. I appreciate that. If you feel the same, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. I don't know if you've noticed, but we got a lot of food in this country. A lot of peaches, a lot of corn, a lot of apples, a lot of everything. We've got so much food that we can't even eat it all. So if we got all this extra food, how are 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger? I just don't get it. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to the hungry kids who need it. They can get you food even if you live in Idaho or Alaska or somewhere crazy like that. This isn't complicated. We got extra food and we've got hungry kids. Feeding America's done the math. Now it's your turn. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. I know you got internet on your phone, so what are you waiting for? We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
On the internet, there are tons of special networking websites, but one stands apart. This one saves lives. It's matchingdonors.com. Matchingdonors.com links organ donors with people in need of kidney and other transplants. Did you know in the U.S., 19 people die each day waiting for an organ transplant? If you've ever considered becoming a living organ donor, or if you're someone in need of an organ transplant, please visit matchingdonors.com.
Giving you a complete review of the Huskers news this week. This is the KLIN Husker Hour on Lincoln's Husker Radio, 1499.3 KLIN.
All right. Nate had to run, so we thank Nate for the time he had here on Husker Hour. He's got Husker softball at noon with 11:45 pregame over on 105.3 The Bone. Tomorrow they'll be back on B107.3. I believe that is also a noon first pitch. We're here in studio, though, with Pat Norris, Husker men's basketball equipment manager for now a full 22 years. And he's seen some stuff, but nothing quite like Oklahoma City. And I want to go back there for a minute. I went to OKC with my friend Jeff, and we ran into you there at the hotel before the send-off before the Troy game on Thursday. What were you expecting going into that game fan wise? I mean, you've seen Husker fans travel everywhere as they do, but to the extent the atmosphere, I wasn't quite ready for what I saw. I don't know if you were.
Well, in Memphis, we had a good showing of fans at the hotel. So I was kind of expecting that. Our lobby was much smaller. So everybody was really packed in there.
Yeah.
So that made it look like it was pretty cool. I mean, it was really cool to have all the fans in there and then spilling out onto the sidewalk right up to the buses. That was really neat. And then in the arena, unmatched. And I've never seen anything like it. I think you've heard other people say that we took over that arena.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Webber, who's seen a lot of college basketball, he did the game for CBS or True TV or whatever channel we were on. He said that, like, best, first round atmosphere. A lot of guys said that watch the sport and cover it on a national basis. And here's little old Nebraska never won a game, and we're doing the crowd thing. The Troy game, it was such a different experience from the Vanderbilt game. It was, number one, the game was a blowout. So you kind of knew. I think the fun thing about that one was you had different points in the game where I think different people thought it was over. and let themselves go to that place. I went there after it was the Frager 3 with like 8.5 minutes left. And there was a timeout, and I was just like, holy crap, they're up by 25. I think it's over.
It was at that point. Jake Muehlheisen was behind me.
Yep.
I turn around to Jake, grab him. I like, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
And that was the point.
Yeah. And then you had people stay as long as they possibly could. The players were on the court for a while. They did a lot of the post game with Kent Pavelka. They did a lot of the post game with the broadcast crew. Huge crowd pops every time one of the players left the floor. Glad to see you got your little moment to fire the crowd up when they're wrapping the TV broadcast up. That end of game moment where they're hugging Kent and everybody's just, no one's leaving, and everybody just wants that moment to like live forever. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, where everybody's around Andy Katz over there.
Yes.
Coach is standing off to the side, and I walked over to Coach. Thank you, Coach.
Yes.
And I looked over, and Vandy's standing there waiting to get on the floor. And I'm looking like, nobody's going to leave this floor. You're going to have to wait a little while.
Yeah, they had to get used to that.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt did, their players and their coach. We've got Pat Norris in here in studio, Husker equipment manager, talking OKC. I had Amy Just on my show the Saturday after the Saturday of the Vandy game, and talked to her about her piece that she put together about the folks who were behind the scenes of the program, and you were one of them, and she talked to you, and she told me, whenever I talk to people, and it gets emotional, like I never cry, but I talked to Pat, and Pat teared up, and then I teared up. And like, I can't even imagine the amount of time that you've put into this program to see it all come to fruition. And in that moment, you just get overwhelmed thinking about it and talking about it.
Yeah. Up to that point, it was just elation, like celebrating with everybody. And then Amy starts asking me some questions, and I kind of lost it there for a little bit, thinking of, just all the time I've put in and all the support staff has put in. I mean, it's every day for 6 months out of the year. You're there on weekends, whether it's a game or practice, you're there for at least 5-6 hours. So yeah, it's a lot of time. So
yeah. And as somebody to follow the program too, just from the outside perspective, I've called it the lowest return on investment for a fan base, because you've had good moments. Obviously you've had court storms. They beat number 1 Purdue a couple years ago. They've made the tournament. They had the crown last year. Those individual moments, but to not have the payoff in the tournament, to not move on in the bracket ever, the only team, and all that stuff that comes with that. It was so incredible to see how many people went down there, how many people believed that they were finally going to see it, and then finally have that return on investment, that payoff. And then to have it all go again on Saturday with Vanderbilt, a completely different vibe. It wasn't right off the bat at noon. It was an 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. tip. Everybody had all day to get ready. And that crowd was the most like not Nebraska nice crowd I've seen since like Miami football 2014 or Colorado football 2024.
Yeah, they were ready for another, and they made sure Vandy heard about it. So
what was the vibe like in the locker room between the two games, like leading into Troy and then leading into, I had to imagine that it was a little bit different, even as consistent as Fred wants to be, and as much as they all embody his mentality. How did you feel?
Yeah, I didn't really notice it from the players. Myself, I was an emotional roller coaster before the Troy game, because I couldn't figure out why all these national people were picking us as the upset special. Like,
right.
Have you not watched us all year?
Yeah.
So my mind's going all over. And then Vandy, I was kind of even keel. I thought, okay, we're the better team here. We're going to go out and show it. And
yeah. What did you see from your perspective on the bench in that game? Because from the stands, it was as intense an experience as I've ever been in. Like, the game ended on the crazy rim out from Tanner, and I was sweaty, and I was in the 300 level. What was your perspective?
Well, on that play itself, from my angle, I didn't think it was good. I thought it was way off. And then it rattled out. I was like, oh, that was closer than I thought. And then it was just going crazy.
Yeah.
I had a guy behind me. So the NCAA only allows a certain amount of people on the bench. So like 10 of us support staff people were in the, what they call it, the build out right behind the bench. So I'm in the front row right behind the bench.
Yeah.
Second row is ticketed for our fans.
Right.
I don't know who was behind me, but he was in my ear a lot and letting the refs know they were doing a bad job.
Yeah, there's some folks who can get like that. Well, it was an incredible experience in Oklahoma City, and you have had a front row seat to that and a lot more in your 22 years. Pat Norris, longtime equipment manager for Husker men's basketball. Really appreciate the time this morning. It was great to chat with you about all this.
Thanks for having me in.
Yeah. We'll also see you on the softball diamond very soon.
Monday night.
That's
Let's do
right.
it.
That's right. Pat's Mr. Pitcher. He's getting them strikes up there. We're gonna wrap things up. We'll get you caught up on the portal and get you ready for the weekend right after this on the KLIN Husker Hour.
You're listening to the KLIN Husker Hour. Executive Travel Talk is next on 1499.3 KLIN.
Hey guys, it's Jack Mitchell from KLIN, and I am out at the mother of all garage sales today. We're at the Sandhills Global Event Center, Currency Pavilion. We're going until 3 o'clock today. What's that mean for you? Well, number one, you still got time to get here. You need $5 to get in. That's it. Free parking, and kids under 10 are free. What do you get for that? A packed house of over 300 booths with all sorts of amazing items for sale. I'm talking antiques. I'm talking collectibles, brand new and used clothing, kids items, handmade crafts, delicious food, plants, electronics, furniture, more. That probably gets to like 20% of the different things that are here. I can't even tell you. You got to see it to believe it. And if you love hunting for deals, I'll tell you, this is the place for you on this Saturday. So 84th and Havelock, like I said, Sandhills Global Event Center until 3. Stop on out here. You might even see me or some of your favorite other radio personalities running around here as well. It's Jack Mitchell, mother of all garage sales on 1499.3 KLIN.
For over 85 years, Farm Bureau Financial Services has served farmers and ranchers. From your farm and ranch to machinery, crops, and livestock, we have you covered. And for more than 25 years, we've been the #1 ag insurer, protecting over 42,000 farmers and ranchers. Because when it comes to ag, we don't just get it, we live it. Learn more at fbfs.com/rootedinag. #1 ag insurer, 1996 to 2024, S&L PNC Group, Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company, direct written premium.
Husker football, basketball, baseball, and beyond. This is the KLIN Husker Hour on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, that was a lot of fun. A big thank you to Pat Norris, who joined us here in the studio. If you missed that, check out podcast page, KLIN.com. Get subscribed wherever you listen to your podcasts and listen back. All right, we have portal news. Unfortunately, Berkay Butengel is in the portal. He is leaving the program for his senior season. We thank him for his service. Played his best game of his career, I think, against Vanderbilt. Frager is back officially. And then as for the rest of it, Sam Orm, a 6'8" transfer from Belmont, is verbally committed. 12 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 40% from 3, all Missouri Valley as a sophomore. Drew Fielder from Boise State is 6'10", all Mountain West as a junior this last year. He was just here for a visit yesterday. See if he's committing. And then Dunk Joseph, Martin Somerville, Stink Robinson. Those are some other names to keep an eye on. Those are guards that Nebraska has been talking with in the portal. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Kenny Larrabee. Thanks to Pat Norris. And thanks to Nate Rohr calling Husker softball out in Madison today. Softball on the bone and baseball here on KLIN today. Go Big Red.
Turn your tax refund into